There are other issues that I can't really speak about that actually makes me worry sometimes, that the NPA is actually being infiltrated by people that do not have the rule of law at heart. I don't sleep comfortably at night.
The National Prosecuting Authority was South Africa's last line of defense against corruption, looting, and organized crime. But today, it's slow, distrusted, and in some cases, it lets assassins out on bail. This is no longer just a crisis of corruption. It's the collapse of accountability, truth, and justice itself. The NPA's mandate is clear: prosecute criminal cases on behalf of the state, without fear, favor, or prejudice. But what we have now is a hollowed out shell. Despite years of damning evidence from the Zondo Commission, almost no high-level arrests. Most corruption cases have stalled or quietly vanished. And South Africans, they're losing faith fast. Can you blame them? Whistleblowers are silenced and their assassins roam free. Evidence stacks up, but no one is held accountable. Justice doesn't just move slowly, it barely moves at all. But how did we get here? Well, many believe the unraveling began in 2008 when Parliament voted to disband one of South Africa's most effective anti-corruption units, the Scorpions. They were elite, independent, fearless. South Africa's very own FBI. They had special investigative powers, operated independently of the police, and achieved a reported 90% conviction rate, an extraordinary level of effectiveness. Built to dismantle organized crime and expose high-level corruption. And they did. Over 600 major investigations, including the Brit Keble mining scandal, cross-border drug syndicates in Johannesburg and Durban, arms deal corruption including Zuma's links to Sheikh. They didn't flinch. They didn't care who you were. If you were dirty, you were next. And that made them very dangerous. Not to criminals, but to politicians. Their fatal mistake? Investigating the wrong people. Cabinet ministers, senior ANC officials, and even the then Deputy President, Jacob Zuma. So, the ANC shut them down. Pulled the plug.
The ANC resolved in Polokwane to push ahead with the dissolution of the Scorpions. The same investigation unit that put together the case against Jacob Zuma and National Police Commissioner Jackie Salebi. The ANC wants the unit disbanded by June. And wasting little time, Safety and Security Minister Charles Ngakula has outlined the plan for their demise.
The Scorpions, in the circumstances, will be dissolved, and the organized crime unit of the police will be phased out, and a new amalgamated unit will be created.
That unit will fall under the command of SAPS.
The message was clear. You investigate us, we will erase you. The Scorpions were replaced by the Hawks, a unit reporting to the Ministers of Police. A step closer to power, a step further from independence. And it opened the floodgates for everything that came next. From the collapse of Eskom, to the capture of law enforcement, to the slow unraveling of institutions meant to protect the public. It sent a clear message. Accountability was optional, and power would always protect itself. Under the Zuma administration, the NPA was not just weakened, it was captured. Top positions were filled through cadre deployment, stacking the institutions with loyalists. High-profile corruption probes were quietly stalled or shelved. Whistleblowers weren't just ignored, some were silenced, even eliminated. This wasn't just incompetence, this was strategic, surgical. While headlines focused on the looting of state-owned enterprises like Eskom and Transnet, the very institutions meant to stop it were being neutered from within. Justice didn't just fail, it was reprogrammed to protect the powerful. Even Chief Justice Raymond Zondo recently said, "I have less faith in the Hawks than I had in the Scorpions." And that should terrify all of us. In 2018, Shamila Botai was appointed the new National Director of Public Prosecutions. She came with global credentials, ICC experience, and integrity. At first, there was hope. A turning point. a fresh start. But 5 years on, that hope has all but faded. High-profile cases have collapsed, convictions are rare, and the NPA internal chaos continues. Fatai blames poor funding and a limited staff. But to the public, it sounds like more excuses. What was meant to be a new chapter feels like the same old story. The 255 million asbestos scandal was supposed to be the NPA's redemption arc, a chance to take down Ace Mashingule, one of the ANC's most influential power brokers. Finally, a senior politician would finally face accountability. But instead of a breakthrough, the case became a national embarrassment. The prosecution struggled. Key witnesses weren't ready. The state star witness, Mashingule's former assistant, refused to cooperate, and an attempt to extradite her was ruled unlawful. The case was postponed again, this time to 2026. 5 years after charges were laid, and still no trial. The NPA says that they're ready, but the delays, confusion, and courtroom stumbles told a different story. What should have been a moment to restore faith in justice, instead, exposed just how broken the system truly is. Scandal after scandal, case after case, and yet nothing changes. It's not that South Africans don't care, it's that they have stopped expecting anything better. South Africans have seen this movie before, and it always plays out the same way. No arrests, no justice, no consequences. The media reports it, the politicians deny it, the public shrugs and moves on. This fatigue isn't just psychological, it is political. It protects the guilty and isolates the innocent. When corruption becomes normal, justice becomes impossible. In July 2024, Mpho Mafole was assassinated.
Well, a very somber moment indeed. This morning's just been very difficult for the family. Remember, they're still coming to terms with the passing of the late Mpho Mafole. He was just 47 years old, and he had just spent 3 months in the municipality of Ekurhuleni when his passing came about. We understand that the police found his vehicle having been shot at, the family going as far as saying about 8 bullets got to him and 1 to the head. So very graphic, very difficult for those that love him to have to accept what has taken place here. And
he was investigating corruption. He was doing the right thing. The man accused of killing him, he was already out on bail for a previous murder investigation. How? How does one man suspected of a killing get bail and then proceed to kill again? This is what collapse looks like. When the state forgets its duty to protect life. Mpho Mafole stood up to corruption and paid with his life. In South Africa, it's not about guilt or innocence. It's about who you can threaten and how well you are politically connected. This is no justice system. This is more than a legal failure. It's a moral one. You can't fix an economy if the looters are protected. You can't stop violence if assassins get bail. And you can't fix South Africa if justice is broken. Every day without accountability chips at our democracy. And the longer we wait, the harder it becomes to fix. South Africans aren't asking for a miracle. They're asking for something very basic. A justice system that punishes the guilty and protects the innocent. So I'll ask you, when is enough enough? How many more people need to be silenced before justice speaks up? How long are we going to let the politically elite strive while ordinary people live in fear? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to hit that bell too, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.